Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Northeast. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. So, look at the last 72 hours of precipitation. We've seen some areas that have been hit fairly hard across the eastern half of the U.S. One corridor here across portions of the mid-Mississippi Valley, the eastern Corn Belt, and another one right here across the mid-Atlantic into portions of the Northeast region. So, you add in the last 7 days, so the last week total, you really see this corridor here across portions of the central U.S., but again, across the mid-Atlantic into Pennsylvania and New York, some areas here seeing 3 inches or more of precipitation over the last 7 days. And that has led to some changes here. We look at the soil moisture anomaly over the last month, so the change from March 31st to April 29th. Again, this was a region that had been seeing quite a bit of drying over the last month or so prior. But now a couple of areas here from the mid-Mississippi Valley and then across the mid-Atlantic up to the eastern half of the Northeast region here, where we've been adding in some of the moisture here, kind of re-moistening, resaturating things across the region. Now, the good news is, as we head through the next week, we're going to be looking at a jet stream pattern that features a ridge in the west and a trough across the Hudson Bay. That's going to filter in some cooler air across the region. That's not the good news. The good news, though, that lays within that is that we're going to see a drier trend across some of these areas from the eastern Corn Belt into the Northeast. Now, that's not going to be completely true. It's not going to be totally dry for everyone, and southern portions of the Northeast and eastern portions here, kind of along southern Pennsylvania and then along the coastal areas here, we'll actually see the opportunity for another round or two of heavy precipitation as we head to the next week. So let's look at temperatures as we get started. We've got some cooler air coming in on the back side of the storm system working its way through the region right now. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s behind that, still in the 50s in some areas across the Northeast as we're tapping into the warm side of this storm as it begins to pull through the region. Let's go ahead and take a look at the radar underneath that, and we can see we do still have plenty of heavy rain across portions of eastern New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, eastern Maine, down into Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, then off the Atlantic coast, even some light showers across eastern Pennsylvania as we begin our Friday morning. We'll take a look at the high-resolution NAM model, and that's going to show this first wave of precipitation exiting by the time we get to Friday evening. This is 8 p.m. on Friday, maybe some showers falling across far northeastern regions, but by and large, everyone drying out by the time we get to the late evening into the overnight. We'll be quiet then as we head through the overnight. Here's what it looks like at 6 a.m. on Saturday, a gorgeous start to the weekend here across the Northeast region. It's not until we get into late Sunday evening we start to see a next round of showers and storms starting to push in with that disturbance across the west. So western Pennsylvania, western New York, by the time we get to sunset on Saturday, maybe some showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, spreading across the entire Northeast region by the time we get to Saturday night and Sunday morning. So for a lot of us here, from eastern Pennsylvania into the rest of the Northeast region, this will kind of sneak through overnight Saturday into Sunday morning, such that we've got kind of a gloomy, maybe damp Sunday, but not really seeing much in the way of heavy precipitation until you head well off to the south, where maybe some lingering showers and storms along that frontal boundary across southern Pennsylvania. So over the next 3 days, taking it through the weekend, how much precipitation are we expecting? Well, heaviest across coastal areas here where we're seeing some of that rain still moving out from the storm system today. Otherwise, we're talking about a few tenths of an inch to maybe a half of an inch as these showers and storms quickly make their way through Saturday night into Sunday. Let's step back, take a look at a little bit longer range with the European model. Again, we'll quickly watch this system depart as we head through the day today, leading us into a quiet overnight, a quiet Saturday. Some showers beginning in western areas here late Saturday evening into the Saturday and overnight. Showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder passing through the Northeast region Saturday night into Sunday morning. And then looking at mostly a gloomy, but not looking for measurable precipitation as we head through the day on Sunday. Monday, we'll be dealing with now cooler air just coming in on the backside, so unpleasant, kind of gloomy, chilly Monday expected through the region, across the region, and that really kind of cool, gloomy weather can be expected as we head deeper into the week with a storm system or two passing off to the south, bringing heavier precipitation to southern portions of the region. So as we look at the next 6 days of precipitation, taking it all the way through May 6th, we see our corridor of heaviest precipitation highlighted well from the Central Plains into the mid-Atlantic here in southern portions of the Northeast region. So that it does include southern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland. That's where we can pick up anywhere from 1.5 to 3 inches of precipitation. Across coastal areas here, across the east, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, maybe western portions of New York, also looking to pick up another inch to 2 inches of precipitation. Another way to look at this would be the probability of 1 inch or more of precipitation accumulating over the next week from the European model and the GFS model here on the right. Where you see the red colors, that's where you're north of 90%. And again, highlighted well, the corridor to the south, and then this corridor up here, a lot of that falling here over the next 24 to 36 hours. Temperatures over the next 10 days, the next 7 days, I apologize, dominated by a ridge in the west, trough across the Hudson Bay. That will be pumping not necessarily record-breaking cold into the region. They'll be seeing records broken across the southwest in terms of heat, but keeping a cool, gloomy, just really chilly and maybe unpleasant at times air mass in place across the northeast region over the first week of May and potentially into the first 7 to 10 days of May, as we again feature a pattern that draws warmth north up the west coast, pushing cold air down from the Arctic across the Midwest and the northeast region. So we'll look at your high temperatures over the next several days. Today, 50s and 60s for many. A little bit warmer for the day on Saturday and Sunday with mid-60s to near 70 expected, but then cooler air on the backside Monday and Tuesday with those highs returning to the 40s and 50s. And unfortunately, that is really going to be the name of the game as we head into that rest of the first week of May. Looking at overnight lows, waking up tomorrow to temperatures in the upper 30s to the lower 40s. Warmest morning is going to be tomorrow morning as that storm system works its way in from the west. Still above average on Monday morning, though, as that cold front makes its way through. We'll start to see those temperatures overnight creeping back into more seasonally appropriate levels in the 30s and 40s as we get into early next week. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday morning.